Welcome to Vitamin OC. I'm Joanna Weiss.
And I'm Whitney Gomez. Every week we bring you your recommended dose of civics and civilization in Orange County. And today have we got a guest for you. If you have a pulse and you know Orange County at all, you've probably come across the irreplaceable, inimitable Sally Bartz.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. That's what happens when you were born at Hoag Hospital and you have not moved away.
You are the
and
most
your children.
Your children, everybody.
Right.
When we became friends, I realized I had made it in Orange County because if you know Sally, you know everybody. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your background and what you did before your current career. The topic today, everyone, is Mahjong.
Mahjong.
Get used to saying it.
But before we do that, tell us, Sal. Tell us about your education. You're an artist. You're a creative.
Yes, I am an artist and a creative. I studied fine arts in college with the idea that I would go into product design. And that is exactly what I did for my career. And that is what I've loved. I still do love art. I still love reading. I've had my own travel bag company. And then I also had years where I just sort of had intermediary jobs and raised the kids. And Mahjong, I came to really, it was on my radar. I was not expecting to take to it as I did. But my sister-in-law has a friend from Dallas who had come in, and she's actually very well known in the Mahjong sphere. Her name is Stephanie Brinks. She's the marvelous Mrs. Mahjong.
Wow.
So she was my first exposure to Mahjong, and she's a fantastic teacher. And that really just opened the doors for me, and it came at a perfect time in my life. I did not know that I needed this, but for so many reasons. I think, yes, it's just a game, but what it really is connection. It's learning a really fun skill. It's become really popular. And I think I became addicted because it gets you outside of yourself. So when you're not sure what is happening around you, when you're not sure what tomorrow looks like, if you're having an existential crisis, you have people who say the way out of anxiety is creativity. The way to push yourself into the exact now presence is to play a game.
I love that.
So
that's great. And question for you. You have a really wonderful background in the creative arts. Could you tell us a little bit about before you discovered Mahjong or Mahjong discovered you, as it were?
I was kind of ambitious. I thought, well, of course, I'm going to study design and art, and I will work as a designer in the action sports industry. And I did get lucky, but I think sort of having a clear vision of what I wanted to do. I was also very lucky because in our Orange County, that was what was called Velcro Valley. I think it was like Silicon Valley,
right,
where all the surf companies or majority of surf companies had slowly grown, but there was a big up spike in surf culture in the 90s into the early 2000s. So the timing was right for me as a young person to get into that industry. And it gave me a ton of great opportunities, meeting interesting creative people, traveling all over the world. I got to be responsible for a really big product line that was sold all over and brought in a lot of money for the companies I worked for. So I was very lucky.
Drop some names.
Yeah.
You've worked for some big names.
Roxy Quicksilver, Paul Frank. I did freelance design for a bunch of companies. It's funny because the popularity has waned. And I think most of these companies are owned by private equity and licensing companies now, but also Volcom, Rip Curl, Rusty.
These were all so big in the 80s and early 2000s. And that's when surf culture really developed here in Orange County.
Yeah.
And those product lines became associated with the brand.
It did, and help people kind of become part of what we are lucky to have is surf culture here. And there was a point after Paul Frank where I started my own travel bag company, and I wanted sort of a clean, beachy, more classic, but grounded aesthetic. So I started what was called Halsey, and I called it like coastal chic travel bags and accessories. So some of you might have them. They're laminated canvas with very coastal, beachy, kind of a 60s, 70s. But that was quite some time ago. And I've always kind of kept involved with the arts and creating. When I became an empty nester, I was parallel, falling in love with Mahjong, and also my wheels are always turning. When I had Halsey, I had done some homewares, and I had found a manufacturer in the States who did ice buckets. So this was about 15 years ago. So I took my Halsey prints and I made ice buckets. Well, this was what my brain was running. Well, what can I make? What can I make domestically? What can I manage inventory with, where I don't have to buy really deep and handle inventory management and sales? So I got back on the ice bucket front, and I use this to hold Mahjong tile. Perfect. So these, not ice in here, but these are some fun Mahjong tiles, which I'll show. This is actually my angle. And what makes it really fun for me is I source vintage rain spooner shirts. And I think Joanna, being a Californian, knows exactly what those are.
Definitely.
And Whitney does.
I do not. Sorry.
Wow.
So Joanna.
Yeah. They are the iconic shirts in fun prints, and they've crossed over into seasonal holiday shirts. They're really iconic here in Southern California and so popular and fun.
Yes. And they're very nostalgic for a lot of people. I think the brand was started in the 50s, very popular in Honolulu. They're responsible for Aloha Fridays and the Casual Friday movement. There are kids who were put in them as little boys. Grandpas wear them. Many people say, oh, this was my father who passed away, had a rain spooner shirt collection. Anyway, it's so much fun to hunt these shirts down, and they're so beautiful. I like to highlight these beautiful patterns on my ice buckets. And I have, like Joanna said, they have, there's holiday ones and they're annual. I have Newport Beach Centennial ones. So it's been a really fun, more of a hobby than a business. So I joke that I'm in my Mahjong and ice bucket era.
Sounds appropriate. That worked.
Yeah. So
Sally, can I say something that's going to offend our demographic of listeners right now?
oh, do you want to?
You know, I have been resisting Mahjong.
I know you.
And I've never explained to you why.
I'm a little offended.
I know you are.
I think you think you're maybe too good for Mahjong.
No, not at all.
Too
I think
young
I'm too
for
young for it. Yes, like, and I know it's hot with 30-year-olds in big cities, and I know it's a big thing. But I wrote my college essay about the ladies at the country club where I waitressed for 8 years. And I would serve them breakfast, and they would go play tennis. And then I would serve them lunch, and then they would go play bridge. And then they would go home and change, and I'd be like cooling my heels at the country club, setting up for dinner. And then I would serve them dinner. And I was like, who are these people who have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at this country club that I'm serving them 3 meals a day? Like,
they're probably having an existential crisis, and the only way they can be present and in the moment is to stay at the country club and play Mahjong and play tennis.
I served a lot of meals.
I know what you're saying.
So like tennis, pickleball,
Yeah.
bridge, Mahjong. I already play pickleball, and can I really add Mahjong?
Well, and I understand completely where you're coming from, because I grew up, my dad's mother learned bridge in high school. She went to a boarding school in Chicago. When they were feeling sneaky, like their way of rebelling was staying up late and playing bridge in the closet.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
So my Nana always played bridge, and I think towards the later years, she and my papa and their couple friends, that was sort of their evening social thing, was playing bridge together. And then on my mom's side, so my mother was a school teacher, always worked in our school library as a volunteer, loved that, didn't go back to work full time because she needed to stay flexible for our family. But when she became an empty nester, she had a really cool second career that I won't go into right now. But she also taught herself bridge. And my mom is 86 years old now. And every single week, she has an in-person bridge group and an online bridge group. And those are her people. Those are her connections. She is so bright and so incredibly sharp. And it's bridge. And so when Mahjong fell into my lap, I thought, I'm probably not going to learn bridge myself, nor am I going to recruit a bunch of friends. But Mahjong is happening. If I learn this, I'm on the path. And I was resistant too, because I thought, I'm not going to take the time to do this. I have so many other things to do. So sometimes I am the lady at the country club playing the game, but
I love it. I think Whitney's just resistant. You know, when you reach middle age, you get sorted into one of 4 groups, and it's Mahjong, pickleball, Ardo, or gardening. I think are the 4 houses that we get.
I did hear something really good at the gym today. This was great. I also, we're middle-aged, so we do weight training and resistance training.
Oh, do we ever?
We'll be having an episode on that.
We eat protein like it's our part-time job.
So at the gym today, I was saying, we were talking about somebody said, He's kind of stubborn, huh? And the person I was talking to said, no, he's like you, Sally. He wants to know the data and understand the data before he accepts and says yes and does it. And Whitney, you're not stubborn. You just want to know the data.
Well,
before
give
you
it
accept
over,
it.
Sally.
Okay.
Give us the goods. All right. What is Mahjong?
What is it? What is it? Okay. So these tiles, Mahjong is a tile game, and I can sort of scooch these over. These are two different brands of Mahjong tiles. Some are very traditional, and then some are more fun and pretty, and I'll get to what happens there. So Mahjong is a tile game. It has a lot of parallels with playing cards, more so than dice. Or I'm sorry, more so than dice or dominoes. And when I teach Mahjong, I kind of use that parallel. So it's a tile game. It could have been a card game.
Well, here's a
That is
ginger
a
jar
ginger
tile. You had me at ginger jar.
I should have just not even gone into Country Club and just said ginger jar.
That's awesome.
And Food Dog, by the way, BTW.
Yes. My mother, I think, has this. We were just looking at it this weekend.
So it's a tile game, started in China in the 1800s.
So pretty.
There's an assumption that it's this sort of ancient game, but it really isn't. We don't know exactly why it was developed. I'm sure historians do. I think it was basically developed by generals to keep troops engaged. When people from the West started going to China for business, they started to bring Mahjong sets back because it was popular there. It was interesting. It became trendy in the States in the 1920s. Who knew? And it was really people, people in cities, people maybe involved in the military, for sure Asian cultures, because as they started to move over, they brought the games too. And also the Jewish community really embraced it. So what happened is you had people all over. The rules were not very specific. My understanding of the difference between Chinese Mahjong and American Mahjong, which I'll get to. When I talk to somebody about them playing Filipino Mahjong or Japanese Mahjong or Chinese Mahjong, it's similar to playing cards in the sense that there are set hands, set rules, but it's all word of mouth. So if you're playing in Connecticut, you're playing in Arizona, your group of friends might have developed their own sets of rules.
Okay.
Like 89 years ago now, a group of Jewish women came together in New York City with the goal of hammering out a consistent set of rules for Mahjong, and they created the National Mahjong League. And that is what we teach. That's what's called American Mahjong. So this has, in teeny tiny writing on this card, are all the rules. And so we teach to these rules. And
May I see?
you may see it and your brain is going to explode because it's another language.
Okay.
So in this card that we teach, every year you are learning a whole new set of hands. And there are consistent themes through the hands. There's 71 lines on that card, but there are over 1,000 combination of hands that you can create based on those lines.
Okay.
And this is why people say Mahjong is a little complicated and why
It's complicated.
you get an instructor.
That's why there's a business for people like me who love it to teach
Right.
others,
Yes.
to get them into the game.
How long does it take to learn?
So the way we teach, and I am under my friend's umbrella. Her business is Mahjong OC. Based in Orange County, we teach all over. We even go down to San Diego County. We can go up to LA County. We have a lot, of course, in Orange County that we teach. And we do private lessons. We do group lessons. We have open play lessons, group events. So our approach is for the beginner class, we take 2.5 hours and we teach you enough rules that you can play a game. So we get you playing a game. The traditional way of teaching has been for people to sign up for a series, which is tricky because that's a big time commitment for something you don't know that you want to actually continue. So I really love teaching this way because it is a steep learning curve. I am just fire hosing you with information, but you actually will play a game and we will guide you to what category on the card we think you should go for. But really, through a series of drawing and discarding tiles, you are slowly developing your line of tiles into one of those lines. And the first person to do that with the 14th tile gets Mahjong.
Okay.
And how long does a game take to play?
Good question. It varies. So when we're teaching, we usually allow about a half an hour. And when I play with my friends, we can play 15-minute games.
Okay.
So what's fun is you can sit down and in 2 hours, you can burn through 8 games. Or if you're wanting to be more relaxed and chit chat, not as many games.
Right.
And I think you had asked before, how many people? So when we teach a table of 8 and have people pair up, or we teach a table of 4. But pairing up is really fun because you have 2 heads is better than 1. When we play, it's 4 people at a table.
And so you're with a partner and you're playing one hand with the partner?
So good question. It's actually, we pair them up. So you 2 would be at one side of the table, 2, 2, and 2. You 2 would function as one player, one playing card, and you would make decisions together.
For teaching.
For teaching.
Okay. And is it like pickleball where you have like your partner that you always play with?
Oh,
no.
Because when you're paired up, that's just for your beginning class. I did just teach, actually in Laguna Niguel, a 102 class. So for people who had played. And we all decided collectively that for them to be paired. They said, you know what, we'd rather be paired. And that worked out great because they were not very experienced playing. And then they could make decisions together rather than sitting there nervously on their own. As soon as you get through a few games and get comfortable, then you are playing on your own. But the beauty is, since the rules are standardized, you could play with any group because the rules are the same. And so you can sit down and jump in and play.
And is it like cutthroat competitive? You're like racing to get to the combination that you need?
So it is funny because I think a lot of your personality is shown through Mahjong.
Fun.
Kind of like how they say with golf, like it reveals your character on the golf course.
Right.
I think Mahjong, yes. And one thing that is also enjoyable is there's sort of a ritual and etiquette to Mahjong. So that sort of keeps the pace. There's a whole thing you go through in dealing, then a whole thing you go through where you're trading tiles in the beginning. So it sort of slows things down. And there are things that you can do to be competitive and maybe piss off the other players.
I love it.
But then people aren't going to really enjoy playing with you. So there's a lot of courtesy involved.
Okay, interesting.
But like golf, there's what we call the pace of play. So let's say I'm playing with a group and somebody is new to it, well, I know the pace of play is going to be slower and I'm going to be graceful about that and not difficult. And I'm going to try to help her to get her up to speed because I want to keep playing with her. And it is intimidating in the beginning because you think, oh my gosh, everybody knows this. I don't. And like I said, it's a steep learning curve. Once you get comfortable with that card and make a few mistakes, you can catch up pretty quickly. And if you're playing, let's say one of you is a newbie and you're playing with people who are more experienced, as long as you're keeping up with the pace of play generally, you can play, you might even Mahjong, or if you're in over your head, you can at least keep drawing and discarding tiles.
Right.
Which is nice.
So this was something that you picked up later in life. How long did it take you and how long were you playing before you as a student became the teacher?
Yeah, I truly was not playing long before I started teaching. I learned, and the group that I learned with was all very enthusiastic, and it's a group of 12. So that was fantastic because we immediately started texting, who can play at this time on Tuesday, who can, this time on Saturday. So we immediately started playing. And since it was 12, we were able to create groups easily.
Really quickly.
And I played a lot. I needed that distraction.
Great.
And so I got good. And you can also play online. So this is actually for anybody who is interested, who's taken a lesson on a laptop or on an iPad. The website is ilovemaj.com. ilovemaj.com. And you can play online and you play against bots. So that's a very good way to practice and get familiar.
Uh-oh.
And build your confidence.
I'm never going to go to bed again.
I know, that's right.
We'll put a timer on it. We'll put a timer. So in order to play, you need this fun playing card.
Where does one purchase a Whitney's card?
So this National Mahjong League card, this is so exciting in the Mahjong world. Today is March 18th, 2026. The Mahjosphere is very excited that the 2026 playing card has just been released. The new card is hitting people's mailboxes, and kind people are posting it on Instagram, the current card. So even though I don't have it in hand. So that card you can order from the National Mahjong League. I think it's on here. It's, spelled out. And if you were to take a lesson with us or go to Open Play or go to a big group lesson, we have them to sell. So people can just jump right in and get on it.
Okay, you're convincing me. I'm warming up to this. But Joanna and I have also read that it's good for brain health.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Okay,
What's your...
I think that is so true. So true. I think it's definitely, even though it appears to be a lovely country club game with beautiful tiles and beautiful mats and beautiful tablecloths, it is really a health and wellness game for a few reasons. For sure, brain health. You are developing new neural pathways. I used to have to nap when I was learning because I would we say like our brains are exploding because you're creating patterns very quickly and making decisions very quickly. So those neural pathways are just opening. So yes, and I don't know have the science on that, but the researchers say it is great for preventing dementia and Alzheimer's. Also, they say one of the most important things for longevity is community. And so once you start playing and your community grows, you can play with anybody. And so you're broadening your community. You're seeing people you haven't seen in a long time because, oh, they play Mahjong? Oh, now we're going to play Mahjong. It's another reason to get together. It is also not a drinking game.
Right.
And you had asked me before about young people. Well, it's something that we can do together that's not centered around drinking. We certainly can drink, but it's not about drinking. It's about being together and doing something that's fun and being in the moment and sort of like connecting and sharing something together. One thing I discovered is bridge is a little bit more serious and very focused. Mahjong is focused, but if you're playing your 15, 20-minute games, when the game stops, there's one winner, and then you start over again. So all the tiles go back in the center. We shuffle them all up, and then we start over. So it's in those moments that we can say, oh, Joanna, how is your sophomore doing? Last time you said she was doing this. Oh, Whitney, what's going on with basketball for Charlie? You have those moments, and then you get back to it.
Awesome.
So
okay,
and we're convincing you.
Yes, I think I'm getting very convinced. I have a couple more questions for you. Where does one buy tiles? And I've seen in catalogs like $5,000 sets of tiles. Yes. What do we need to buy?
Okay, it's the beautiful thing with the popularity of Mahjong. There are so many different entry points. So I was showing you, let's see what I pull out here. Okay, so this is gorgeous. This tile is 4 layers of acrylic material. It is engraved and painted, designed by an illustrator. These tiles are going to be just for the tiles alone, and they come with a pair of dice. These are going to be $400 to $450 just for the tiles. These are other tiles, which are great. These are more traditional style. They have this cool green color on the back. These are from a company called Yellow Mountain Imports. A set of these, $65. So you can spend a ton. There are people who collect the expensive tiles because they are so beautiful, but you can also collect less expensive tiles. And because Mahjong is so popular, there are all these great mom and pop businesses who are making beautiful tiles in a range of price points. So it's great. You can get your racks, your tiles, your card, your mat, you can get all of that for less than $200 and you can start playing. And then you can layer on different things.
That's great for a new hobby. You're not going out and spending a gazillion dollars.
It's not buying golf clubs.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because some instructors say, well, how much did your partner just spend on a new drum?
Oh dear. Oh.
So
are we going to be seeing a Sally Bartz line of Maj tiles?
I feel it coming.
I do too.
Right.
If anybody wants to be a Sally Bartz financial backer, yes.
Excellent.
I did look into it and the cost of entry is high.
Okay.
So, my creative inspiration is there if anyone wants to get behind that with me.
Excellent. I understand, without naming names, that you recently taught a group of men.
I sure did. We had Mahjong.
We have the Mahjong and Mahjong now.
Right,
I love
right.
it.
Mahjong. One of my dear friends has parents who played bridge as a couple. Aaron Bartz, I know you're out there. I love the idea that that's something that Aaron and I Mahjong with other couples. Aaron will get there. Other husbands are getting there. Actually, there are traditionally men. It started with men. Maj is macho.
Okay.
Right.
And it takes a lot of brains. But men can be equally as smart as us women. So
occasionally,
those who can be brave enough to learn Mahjong. But it's pattern recognition. It's competition. On this card, you might not have noticed, but high stakes. We play for quarters.
Great.
There's that.
Excellent.
But yes, men, it's open to everybody. And I encourage men and women and people of all ages to join and learn Mahjong.
Can you tell us a little bit about the entry points and some of the ways that people can get involved?
Absolutely. Okay, so once you start following things on Instagram, Mahjong related, you will get more and more. You can follow us. It's at Mahjong OC. So AHJONGOC, Mahjong OC. So you'll see Jody McCollum. You'll see all of our events. You'll see things that we've done. You'll see tips and tricks. Our website is mahjongoc.com. The place to play online is ilovemaj.com. Through Instagram, you can DM us. Through the website, you can actually go. You could choose me as an instructor. My availability is on there. And we actually have a whole team of instructors. So it's Jody's business. It's Jody's show. She's fabulous.
I love Jody. I didn't know she was doing this. How awesome. Yes.
Yes. So that's why when she started this, I thought, never thought I'd want to instruct, but Jody's starting this thing. I've got to teach with her. This is fantastic. And it has been. And it's so much, she's a great leader. And she's so organized, and that's why this is working so well. And she now it keeps growing. She has several of us instructors under the umbrella. And so we all go to do different things. We help each other. We will go to bigger groups together and assist while somebody else is leading the lesson.
Well, and I've already my group of friends was introduced to your business. So I'm sure we will be reaching out, and we're going to probably drag Whitney into a group.
I think I've been convinced. So you heard it here first, Sally Bartz.
So glad you can wear your weighted vest.
Totally.
And eat a cheeseburger at the same time.
It is funny when I meet somebody, for example, when I was just at the book fest, you get to that, like, so what do you do? Well, I'm a Mahjong instructor.
That is
and
awesome.
It's my life where I can say that with pride.
That's amazing.
Well, thank you for coming today.
It's been my pleasure.
We had to book Sally when she wasn't teaching because your schedule is so crazy now, and we appreciate you fitting us in.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you
really
so
enjoyed
much.
being here and sharing my love for Mahjong.
Well, and to our listeners, thank you for joining us for your recommended dose of civics and civilization in Orange County.
We'll see you next time.